2026 today. And it looks like we're making pigs in a blanket today. Now, they are different in the US versus the UK, so we are going to make both and see what we think. I think I'm going to like both. But I'm also going to talk about what's been going on lately, because some things are going to have to change for me. Some of what we're making is not sitting real well, and it's not good for my health. But today we're going to finish out with this little pork fest. Of course, these are all beef hot dogs, but or beef franks, if you will. But we're going to start with these. I'm going to open them up. And I'm going to cut these in half so that when we make the pigs in a blanket, that's what we generally do. These are a little bit longer, so hopefully that will work. You know, I might be able to, because I get to cut the pastry to the length that I want, I'm going to go ahead and cut them in thirds instead. So I'll probably use more of my puff that way. So and there you go. So we're just cutting those. I bought this brand, Hebrew National, because they are gluten-free. Now, to make the UK version, I bought this brand. There are conflicting things online about whether these are gluten-free or not. There's nothing in here that says they contain wheat, but apparently some people who are sensitive have had issues with it. So please don't take this. If you're celiac, do not use these. These do say gluten-free on them, the Hebrew National. So you could use those for what I'm doing either way. So I'm going to cut these and get them ready to go as well. So the thing about pigs in a blanket is that in the UK, they are typically wrapped in bacon. And in the US, they are typically wrapped in pastry. So we are going to do both because I think it sounds really interesting. And I'm going to do the American version first, the US version. And we will we'll deal with that. So I'm going to move that. That'll be where my garbage goes. So I have to have a place to toss garbage because I don't have a garbage can. I could throw it across the room, but that would be the best thing to do. So I have it right here instead. I'm going to leave that knife there so that I can use that for... Now, normally I would roll this out a bit, but I do kind of want it to have a little bit of, I don't know, how do I want to put this? I want it to have a little bit of body to it. So I can do this, you know, like a crescent, which I think I'm probably going to do, like a crescent roll that we have here. Or I can, you know what, I'm going to have to measure it too. So hang on just one second. I'm grabbing my measuring tape. And I can either do it, let's see, what's going to be easier. It's just a little less than 12. So we're going to do a little mark at 4. We're going to do a little mark at 8. There we go. So put that back. And we'll cut our pastry. And it's funny because I've talked about, people have made comments about why I don't practice before, why I don't do things before. And the truth is that, I just realized I got to measure again. The truth is that I do that because I want people to understand that cooking is not always simple and real and all that good stuff. It is truly something that people have to work on, and it doesn't always go right. So I'm making us one there, and do it over here, right there, and right there. Okay, and then we'll connect it. Same thing. So, you know, I want you to know that things don't always look perfect. Things don't always do wonderfully, and there are cooking competition shows that show you that, but they're always timed. This isn't timed. This is how life goes, you know, kind of thing. So I'm going to try these in a triangle shape, see how that works. We'll roll them up. So it'll be similar to a crescent, how we do a crescent roll in the US. So see how that works. And it's not going to be quite the same, is it? But it kind of looks like a pet, like a wrapped up baby, like a snuggled up baby. I'm going to put those in this little bugger right here. So I'm going to sit that right there. So I'm not sure I would do it that way again, although it does remind me very much of a crescent roll, so maybe I am doing it okay. And this is going to puff up around it anyway. So I'm not going to be the fastest person you've ever seen do something like this. And I might just do it a little off center and see if that works better. So, hey Christy, good to see ya. I'm going with, yes, looking, I always say my stuff may not be the prettiest stuff you'll ever see out there, but it should taste good. And my family would say most of the time. Now, when I experiment, they often have an issue, and but you know, we've got it that if we didn't experiment, we wouldn't find new favorites, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, is that you find new favorites when you experiment. Which is why I'm doing the UK version as well as the US version of Pigs in a Blanket today. Because I have a feeling my family is going to like the UK version a lot, because it's literally little smokies and... Now, I will, for anyone British who ever might be watching this, I will apologize. I know they're not authentic, but they're not authentic because authentic chipolatas, which is what they tend to use, have wheat in them. So I cook gluten-free. So that would not do well for me. I would feel like garbage the next day. So actually probably within about an hour of eating it, I would feel terrible. So that one didn't go well. Oh well. These are the middle ones. So I'm trying to make them look like they're in a crescent roll, but easier said than done, to be honest. And again, I'm more concerned with how they taste than how they look, and it's not going to be that hard to... I mean, it's simple, and that's the other thing you'll find when you're here, is I will do my best to make food simple, easy, and accessible to make. I don't think we need to be making ridiculously fancy things online all the time. I don't watch a lot of the Barefoot Contessa, but that is one thing I do like about her, is that some of her stuff is just from not knowing. I understand that. But like in general, she does pretty accessible stuff. Pretty accessible things to make, and she's a pretty original person. She's not somebody who's trying to be pretentious, if you will. So, I like that about her. I don't like all the things she makes. She has a real love of lemons, which I do not share. But, you know, if that's the worst thing you can say about somebody's cooking is, yeah, they do a lot more lemon stuff than I would, but that's it, you know? So, I do have some favorites, and maybe partially one of them is because he's from the same state I am. I like Michael Simon. He's one of my favorites. Trying to think who else. Just kind of real. I know Duff Goldman is a baker as opposed to but I mean he is a chef. So, but I love to watch him. I love to watch him create. I love his creative process. When he and Buddy Valastro do their competitions, I love it. I mean, again, I know I would never make anything like that. But dang, do I love watching them make it, you know? I love their creativity and their processes and all that stuff. So, that's true. She is a cook, not a chef. So maybe that's why I like some of the way she does it, where she's just, there's no pretension at all. And there's a few others that I like. Like I said, Michael Simon. I ate at one of his restaurants, or like it's not one where he necessarily will show up very often because it's more of a family kind of place, or there's a little alleyway in Cleveland, and I was there with a friend, and he owned one of the restaurants, and we ate there one night. It was really good. So, no, not surprisingly, really good. All right, so this tray has been lightly oiled, and I'm going to pop this in the oven really quickly while that goes, and that is an oven thing. So, now it calls for the oven to be at 375 for 10 to 15 minutes. This thing cooks low, so I am going to bake it for 15 minutes, but I'm also going to bake it at 400 because that tends to be what works with that oven. So is to go the next increment higher. We'll see. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Hey, IT man, can you get me an egg, please? I think I'll put a quick little egg wash on these so they're shiny. Honestly, if I did it for my family most of the time, I wouldn't. He just gave me the... That was as close to an eye roll as you can get. All right, will you grab me a bowl too? One of the little bowls. All right. So clear that away. Clear that away. Oh, this one should work. Thank you, dear. He even said, do I need to stick around? Just in case. And I was like, no, I think I got everything today. Wrong. These things happen. Oh, get a little splash of water. That really helped yesterday. I got to learn about egg washes when I used to make bread all the time. My family loves homemade bread. And I would make, you know what, I'm going to pull this back out and put it underneath just in case it drips a little bit. But I used to make homemade bread, and I learned about egg washes because of the homemade bread. And that an egg white gives you a different crust than your egg yolk. But this one, a lot of these egg washes, you just use the whole thing, which is what I'm going to do this time. So, and I won't have to egg wash anything else because it's in bacon. So, and we'll make those up next. And they're a little more straightforward. Just, I mean, I guess I could have made these a little more straightforward by not giving them a point, but and I might have tried that if I'd really thought about it before, but so hopefully these will be all nice and pretty and shiny. You do have a tray underneath them if they decide to drip a little bit, so they're not quite as... The sausage rolls I made yesterday were delicious, but I wish I had cooked them on something where they could drip. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this, and then I have the other tray set up because I know that's going to drip because it's got bacon. So, all right. So, back into the oven it goes. Yeah, got a few little drips there. That'll go right back on. Light this up. And off it goes. Okay. Alright. One of the things I need to do is I need a new tablecloth. And I'm looking for them, but not as easy to find as I would hope. So next we're going to go into the bacon ones. I'm going to put on some gloves for those because it'll just be easier on me to do that. So I've got my handy dandy gloves. I'll start with one because I need to cut the bacon first. Ooh, the hands are still a little wet, so. Oh, the best store-bought pasta that's gluten-free. Okay. Barilla is pretty good. I also have just started buying, Hey, T-Guy, can you look in the pantry for me? I've only bought it a couple times. But it's actually a pasta made out of chickpeas, so it's grain-free, not just... And I'm going to cook with it next week. I'm going to make an orzo. So we just finished working out next week what we're going to make. So not that one, but that's good. You know what? Bring that one over here. I want to show her. DeLallo makes a mini gluten-free gnocchi. And it's really good. 2 minutes, that's it. 2 minutes in boiling water and you are good to go with whatever sauce you make. So that's a great one. And then, yeah, I put it in a bigger one. I did this. So Bonza, that's the name of it. This is their regular pasta. They're like rotini type. But I also have their orzo, and it's very, it's really good. I like it. Oddly, it has any kind of flour in it, and yet it's got the most flour-like texture, which I find really interesting. So, pull that bacon out. I don't know if I'll use all of it. If I do, fine. If I don't, I may only make about a dozen of these. I'm going to see how much of the bacon I need to wrap them. See if I can do this left-handed. I'm right-handed. But I wanted to get kind of an eyeball of how far I need to cut into it so that I can just roll it that way. So, there we go. All right. So, thanks. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The best gluten-free pasta. Like this gnocchi is my favorite. Now, I got the cauliflower gnocchi from Trader Joe's one time, This is Delalo's mini gluten-free gnocchi, and I don't mind cauliflower. I like it. Cauliflower is one of my favorite vegetables, but in a gnocchi, it was kind of weird. I will admit that it didn't, and my family did not like it at all. This they like. As a matter of fact, I bought a second box because it's a small box. Because the last time they're like, well, I wish we had more. So when they're telling you they wish they had more of something gluten-free, that tells me it's good. And then the Bonza pasta, you can't really tell. You just can't tell the difference. I had to go to, I think, Whole Foods to get the orzo because most of them only have one or two types, where Whole Foods was actually the place that had the most. Most places have some kind of gluten-free pasta, but I need to put another glove on. It will go much faster if I do that. So, all right, grabbing another one. I'm trying to do it left-handed is ridiculous. So, I don't know if you saw that, but Christy said, thank you, IT guy, for helping with the pasta. I've had, like I said, I've had the Barilla. It's decent. For egg noodle type pasta, Jovial has a tagliatelle that's like a nest. And when I make chicken noodle soup, I grab one of those nests, and I actually do it with gloves on because otherwise it hurts. And I hope the Italians will forgive me, but I break it up. I don't break my spaghetti, but I break that. And it makes a really nice substitute for an egg noodle, which makes me very happy because not having chicken noodle soup for a couple of years, it was always one of my favorite ones to make, and now I can make it again. So it makes me very happy. And believe it or not, it freezes okay. I actually have one frozen, so maybe next week, if I remember, one of the days I'll unfreeze it and I'll show you. Because that's also a thing with gluten-free pasta, is it tends not to have a lot of integrity. And I will tell you, if you want your pasta to not taste terrible, like if you've got leftover, make sure it's covered in some kind of sauce, and then it'll be okay. Because if it's just like if it's not covered in sauce, it doesn't last very long. You'll want to eat it as soon as you make it. At least that's been my experience. So, and I haven't made my own. I know you can, but I haven't ventured into that yet. That's part of why I'm doing this channel, because it's things I will experiment with, and we can all experiment together, and we can see what it looks like, and we can live and we can learn, and maybe I'll have to do it 2 or 3 times. I don't know. I follow a creator. She's in a program that I'm in about having a YouTube channel, and literally she makes the same thing every day. Now she does a short for it instead of a live cooking, but she's making something called omurice, and she's trying so hard to get it perfect, and she's really struggling with it. So, and from what I understand, it looks so simple because it's essentially scrambled eggs over rice, but it's like an omelet, and it's still a little loose inside. There's still some looseness to it, so when you cut it open, it just kind of flows, and then you put gravy over it, and it's delicious. But she is last time I looked, she was on, it's been a while, I don't think I looked this week, but I think the last time I looked, she was on iteration number 40 something or other. And she hasn't gotten it right yet. So it's quite the process. And I'm sure my son kind of follows stuff like that, so he probably knows more about how to make omurice than I do. You know what? I've got a dozen of those. I think I'm going to make just a few more. these in half. And now, I'm assuming from what it looked like in the recipes that I looked at, that the British use different bacon than we do. They use what we would call back bacon, and they call what we call bacon in the United States, they call it streaky bacon. So I think they would be more likely to use streaky bacon for this. But their sausages are also a little longer, so they kind of do the spiral wrap, where I don't have to do that with these little Smokies. And I will repeat that the little Smokies are not listed as gluten-free, and there is conflicting information, so would not recommend them for celiac. The Hebrew National that I used for the American version of Pigs in a Blanket is they are listed as gluten-free, so I trust that. Plus they're kosher, so I mean they already go through a vetting process, if you will. Okay, I'm getting a few more of these wrapped. I prefer they don't touch. That's why I wasn't going to put them on every single one, but maybe the ones here at the ends. I'll risk it. Or as my children say, risk it for the biscuit. I'm sure my family's going to love these, so making a few extra probably isn't going to be a bad thing. So this, it actually kind of goes along with the picnic theme we had yesterday. That we're kind of making more picnic type food. Oh heck, I'm just gonna finish off the little Smokies because there aren't that many. So we'll finish those off and we'll have a whole tray of these things, which will be and if we don't finish them, I have a neighbor that I share with, and if you were around earlier this week, we made a ton. I had no idea how big those butter beans, lima beans, whatever you want to call them, when I made those on Monday, I had no idea how much they were going to expand. So I ended up taking some of that down to my sister-in-law. She feeds a lot of people. She has family members that live with her. So whenever I have extra, and I had a lot of those lima beans extra, so I took some of the ones that were what I would call, like, if you grew up in the South in the U.S., pintos and cornbread. We took that down to her, so she'll feed a bunch of people. Not herself, mind you. She won't eat that. But she doesn't like beans. The only bean I've ever seen her eat is a green bean, which is made all the more hilarious by the fact that she was a vegetarian for 2 or 3 years when she was younger. Wouldn't eat beans, doesn't like vegetables. The only vegetable she does eat is green beans. And I was like, how in the world did you live? And she said, oh, I ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly. So, you know, to each their own, you know. You do you, boo. I will say that a lot. You'll hear me say that a lot. I think I'm going to just toss the bacon on here. It'll go ahead and cook itself. Lay that between the rows and let it go to town. So, I have never attempted being a vegetarian or a vegan. My body... I did give up red meat once for Lent. Didn't go well. I ended up... There were a lot of things I've given up for Lent, and when Lent is over, I really don't care to ever eat them again. Red meat was not one of those things. I craved it the entire time. of Lent, and I could not wait to eat it when Lent was over. So, cool that. How are we doing over there? Oh, about 2.5 minutes. That worked out pretty well. Um, message from the IT guy. Oh dear. Okay. All right. I am gonna tell you that my son is going to my IT guy. My phone, the battery's been drained, so it's down to like 10%, and he is going to try to fix it and get it so that my phone will start charging again. So if there's a little shaking of the camera, it's not an earthquake, it's just the IT dude. So I just wanted you to know that. All right, I'm going to set this aside for just a second here. And sauces. I'm going to make one, and then I'm going to talk about the other ones. I need to grab a bowl real quick. So you're getting the hearts and thumbs up, so you know they know what you're doing. I'm going to flip this because we don't need to have meat juice going anywhere. Flip it onto the paper there. All right, so the one I'm going to make, it's charging again. Okay. Thank you, IT guy. I'm going to make a little honey mustard. That's all you need. Honey, mustard, and I think honey Dijon, oh dear Lord, tastes better. Why does mustard do that? Why? I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for it, but it does it worse than anything else. So clean that off so it's not all gunky. And then that one needs to go soon. So I'm not going to make a lot of it. My husband's the only one who really likes honey mustard. So I will taste it just to taste it to make sure it's right. That it's not too sweet, not too spicy. He loves spicy. I can't make it too spicy for him pretty much. So let's see how we're looking in there. I think we're gonna add 2 minutes. Maybe 3. I'm gonna add 3 and see what happens. Try to keep an eye on it. But so like I said, he it's a brand new bottle of Dijon, so it's quite pungent. You can taste the. That looks more like it. I think I might add just a tad more. He also loves sweet, so again, I don't think I can really mess up the honey mustard too much. It's either going to be spicy and he'll like it, or it'll be very sweet and he'll like it. But see how he did. I switched hands, just so you know. But it's also my family. Oh, I think that's right. I think that's about right. He'll like that. Whew. Like I said, that has a good kick to it. Now, the other sauces that we'll use, if you're in the U.S., hi Lynette, hi Arlene, thanks for coming in. We are making pigs in a blanket today, and currently I've got the American version with puff pastry cooking in the oven, and as soon as that's done, we're going to pop in the British version. The American version, like I said, has puff pastry. The British version are little sausages that are wrapped in bacon. I just made a honey mustard dipping sauce that we'll try with it. This is a family favorite. Not necessarily mine, but my family, which is probably because it's got mustard and barbecue sauce in it. So my husband loves both of those. But we've got this because I have a 7-year-old granddaughter who loves this sauce. So we will try that with it, probably. And then this is a Cincinnati thing. Montgomeryan. It is known nationwide. It was GW. George Bush, the younger, um, he always stopped here for this when he was in town. He always stopped to get Montgomery Ann ribs. It is on the sweet side, so if you like sweet barbecue kind of things, that would be good for it. This is my husband's favorite. Look, I love barbecue, but this is not my favorite sauce. This is his favorite sauce, not mine. I would definitely sweeten this up. But again, he likes the spicy, he likes the not sweet, but he also likes the sweet. And then, there's just good old ketchup, which you can use. I don't know if anybody would do something else with pigs in a blanket. Those were the main suggestions were honey mustard, barbecue sauce, and ketchup. So I thought, well, that's probably pretty much what we would do as well. So those look pretty good. And they are, I'm glad I put them in something they can drip. Because yesterday, like I said, I wished I had. And I didn't. So, you know what? I'm going to flip this around. I am going to give it a few more minutes. It's just not, they're just not done. So, you don't need them to go for that long, that's for sure. Let's try 4 minutes. But the other thing I was going to talk about is some of you have been around all week and you've seen all the stuff I've made, and I had so much extra food, and I hate food waste. So I gave some of it away. The other problem is some of the things that I've made. Okay. Well, the Dijon is pretty much a horseradish mustard, but that's a great idea. You know what else my husband might try them with would be like a horseradish cream sauce, and with like either sour cream or Greek yogurt. That would work. Hi, Bianca. So today we're talking about pigs in a blanket, UK versus US. I'm finishing up the US version right now. You know what? I think I'm going to stop this and I'm going to put it on air fry and see if maybe we'll put it about 3 minutes on air fry. And that ought to do it. See if it'll crisp everything up. That's what I did yesterday and it worked really well. What I've realized is I need to watch what I'm eating because the scale doesn't like everything that I'm making. So I'm going to try to adapt my recipes next week and add like a healthy component to everything. So like there's a lot of salt in what we're going to eat. So I'm going to try to balance that out. It's also very rich. So I'm going to try to balance that out. Like tonight, again, yesterday when I was doing picnic food, I bought the pre-cut stuff. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have like a small fruit salad with the watermelon, and this is pineapple. I love to buy pineapple when it's in season and it's cheap, and I will cut it myself when it's like that because I can get like 2 for $5 sometimes. A lot of times I will just buy it because it tends to be all the ripe pineapple. And then they had grapes. And again, I would normally buy the grapes separately, but I was in a hurry and I knew I didn't want to pull them off the vine while I was on camera. So I will be having a fruit salad with this tonight. And then we will make individual salads. And this is something we talked about earlier this week when we buy like a big bag of romaine lettuce. Taylor Farms is my favorite. Dole also makes some. Theirs tends to go bad faster. I've also found that if I buy the pre-made, if you have a pre-made one that you like at Costco, theirs tend to last a really long time. But one of the ways we keep our lettuce from getting all slimy, now it doesn't keep it from going brown, a little bit brown, because yeah, some of mine is brown in there, but there's only a couple that look bad, and even when you pull them out, they're not slimy. So I will pick out the best lettuce, and I will have a salad. But what we have found, and we used to lament the fact that sometimes we throw away, a half a bag salad or whatever. But and I know some of you live where things are more expensive than here, but that bag of salad is about $5. if we got one salad out, and like with mine, I like to put olives in mine. This is my favorite olive right here. And then I'll throw in a few of the calamatas. And then I'll do the sugar-free balsamic. And I will do I'll put some cheese on it. Depends on the mood. Sometimes it's feta. Sometimes it's just a low-fat, like Mexican blend. But number one, that balances out. It's a vinegar-based thing versus yes, that did much better. So that helped things. But man, are they dripping? So, which is good. That means we're losing the oil instead of taking it with us. So I'm going to take that off of there. And I'm going to set that aside to cool. I'm going to pull this thing of the grease that dripped. Actually, I need to switch this out. I'll just move this up. And then these guys get air fried for, I did write that down because that was one thing I couldn't remember. Okay. This needs to go for I'm going to say about 15 minutes. You, go back where you belong. Ow. That hurt. Hang on. I accidentally stuck my finger in the pan there. So I got a little bit of grease on it. And I'm just going to run some cold water on it. Again, real life. It happens. So, okay. Try that again. Move you back. And change the time. And as I was telling Christy before, I turn it up a little higher than it's supposed to be because I missed my one. There we go. I turn it up a little higher because mine doesn't work real well. For some reason, it needs to go to a higher temp. So let's see. Let's talk about next week. If you were here yesterday, and I know that Christy was, I said today was National Parfait Day. I was off by a week. Next Friday, I was already planning my next week's recipes. And next Friday is Parfait Day. And I'm going to try to do a savory parfait and a sweet parfait next Friday. I'm trying to think. Monday is National Prime Rib Day. So we're making prime rib. Tuesday is Blueberry Pie Day. So we're actually going to do a blueberry peach crumble because nobody else is going to eat blueberry pie but me here. I might be able to get them to try something with peaches in it. So it's blueberry pie day, but we're going to add some peaches and make it a crumble instead. And then, oh man, I can't remember what the other 2 days are. One is National Raisin Day. And I don't know about you guys, but I know raisins have really fallen out of favor. Like when I was a little kid, that was like a go-to snack. My mom always had raisins, and I generally tend to have raisins as well. But I have a cookie that I make that has some raisins in it, and my family doesn't really like raisins, but in this particular one, they do. Which reminds me, IT guy, we forgot to look at the recipe that we're making for that day and add all the stuff that we need. It's a really good cookie. As a matter of fact, it's called Cookies So Good You Could Eat It for Breakfast. So it will be gluten-free. We're going to make a gluten-free version, which I've never done before, so that'll be interesting. And then there's one other day, and I can't remember for the life of me what Wednesday is, but so we've got a lot of stuff ready to go. Now, again, I had all these plans and I thought this stuff was going to be done. I thought those were going to be done, 5 minutes earlier than they were, which would have given me a little more time. So I'm filling time here until these guys cook up. But if you have any questions about gluten-free cooking or anything about the gluten-free journey, I can answer that. I can tell you why I'm gluten free. I mean, like I said, I was just, every time I ate pasta, my stomach would just bloat up terribly and I didn't feel good. So I stopped eating pasta, and then I realized bread did the same thing to me. So I stopped eating bread, and then I just eliminated gluten. Actually, I eliminated wheat because I thought wheat was my problem. I really didn't know much about being gluten free. And then when I started researching it, I realized it was probably the gluten, not just the wheat. And I didn't, I got really sick one day. I was at the grocery store and I just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker to my stomach. And I finally looked up because I hadn't eaten any wheat, but we had eaten at like one of our favorite, it's not a deli, but it was, how do I explain it? The guy who owned it, all right, I know Christy, if she's still here, is from New Jersey. I was 16 years old. I had never eaten in a deli, particularly a Jewish deli. I ordered a pastrami on mayonnaise and I thought that man was going to kill me. He then explained to me in not very nice terms how you order a pastrami sandwich. And this was his restaurant. And he's long gone, but his traditions live on. And I had had a Reuben salad and I had had some soup. And that's the day I found out when I got sick that barley also has gluten in it. Because I was like, the only thing I ate with any kind of grain in it at all was that barley soup. And I looked, does barley have gluten? And I was like, no, I can't eat this soup anymore. And it's so good. But so that was when I was convinced, because, people will say, oh, it's all in your head. Oh, you're just thinking that it's the trendy thing, da 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 da. And I was like, number one, I didn't know that I ate it. I got sick anyway, and I had to like look it up. So I was like, yeah, it's the gluten for sure. So that that precludes, rye as well. It's barley, wheat, and rye that all have gluten in them. And I'm from a town that is very German, so rye bread is a thing around here. And like, the bread bowls that you can make, we have a lot of them that are made with rye bread. So it just turned life on its head for a while. And it was hard because everything my kids wanted was, pizza and spaghetti and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can't eat any of that. So my husband makes the best, and he learned from an Italian how to make spaghetti and meatballs. And he makes the best spaghetti and meatballs. Everybody loves it. But his meatballs and his sauce were loaded with breadcrumbs, with Italian breadcrumbs. And so we've had to alter that. So sometimes now he'll make a batch of that and then he'll make a batch for me that has gluten free in it. So it it stinks, but that's what you got to do. It's better than being sick. So while we're sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a salad because I want to share a couple things with you other than my little paper towel hack. But we were talking about the lettuce a little bit earlier, and my I just felt bad because it was like every week we're throwing away some of this lettuce. And my husband finally said, we would pay $15 easily for a nice salad, like an entree salad, if we went out. And he's like, you and I each eat at least one from every bag. He's like, that's $30 worth of salad, and we only paid $5 for the lettuce. Now, granted, we've got the other ingredients and stuff, but when we started putting it into perspective that way, it feels a little better. And I want to get one of my. I love a good kitchen tool. I don't just buy gadgets to buy them. I buy them because there's things that we eat. And these are from Pampered Chef, but I'm sure you can get them anywhere. But one of the things about those big bags of lettuce is you get big lettuce. And I don't like big honking forkfuls of lettuce. So I use my shears. And what's interesting is you can eat a lot more lettuce when it's tiny. You really can. And I found out recently that lettuce, people say it's nothing but water. But what's really interesting is when you look at the nutrition of lettuce, per ounce, it has some really good it has, I just wanted to check, I could smell it. So I think I'm going to flip this around real quick. Because the front ones are not getting as done. And you can hear them just cooking away. All right. And but ounce for ounce, lettuce has a lot of nutrition. We just don't eat a lot of them. So, okay, is your name? Oh, it says hi all. Okay, I like that. That's cute. Hi. Um, if you've got a name and you want me to say hi, let me know what it is. Otherwise, thanks for being here. And I think I said hi to Bianca. So uh, this is my current dressing. Okay, fun fact about me: when people say I'm obsessed, not one of my favorite expressions. So, but this is a sugar-free balsamic that I've been eating a lot of. So, hi, Lori. So, hi, Sandra. Nice to have you here. Um, so I drizzle a little bit of that in. I'll just use the honey mustard one. It's not that big of a difference. That's that's something else we do. I am somebody who mixes the dressing through. I don't need as much that way. And I learned that my husband used to work in an Italian restaurant, and they had a chef salad, and that's how they did it. So, and then, okay, normally I would do about a quarter cup, but there's a little extra cheese in there, and there's not enough for a serving. So, it's going in. And then, like I said, I will do some olives. I'm out of tomatoes, so I don't have those. And my cucumbers are in an Asian dressing right now, so I will not be doing that either. So it'll just be a simple salad for tonight to go with the pigs in a blanket. And they're looking really, really good, so I'm excited about that. We've got about 4 more minutes to go. You guys can't see the timer probably, but again, these are my favorite. I could sit and eat a bowl of these. I'm not kidding. My brother's husband introduced me to these, the Castelvetrano. I think that's the way you say it. Castelvetrano, excuse me. They're my favorite. They're really buttery. They've got a really nice texture to them. I put them on all my charcuterie trays. My one daughter-in-law loves olives too. Now she's partial to Kalamata, so I always have some for her when she comes for those. And I got these for a recipe I needed as well, so I'm not as partial to them, but I will pop those in a salad. And I am a late lover to olives. Do you guys like olives? I'm a late lover to olives because I grew up I thought the only kind of olives were the green ones with the red thing in them. And the red thing they always called a pimento. I found out it's not a pimento. As a matter of fact, now one of my favorite foods, one of my favorite like cheese balls, is pimento cheese. because what's in those olives is not a pimento, generally. It is a red pepper, and I'm not a big fan of red pepper unless it's a paprika. Now, I will eat them now, but as a kid, I detested them. So that will be my simple salad to go with my, and that vinegariness will kind of cut all the richness of the pigs in a blanket. So I'm gonna pull this. We're done with this, so I'm gonna put that in the sink. You behave yourself. And then I think, I'm not sure if this is, yep, it's cool enough to touch now. So I'm gonna pull this, and we're going simple. It's Friday night. We're going to the grocery store in a little bit. So I'm making it simple. I'm using paper plates, and I'm just gonna pop these on here. They're good and crunchy, I'll give them that. You can tell that by the way they're coming off of here. And I used, for those who came in late, I used Hebrew National hot dogs because they're gluten-free. For the British version, I used Hillshire Farms. They're not listed as gluten-free. Nothing they list has gluten in it as far as ingredients go. Doesn't say it's made in a facility with wheat, but several people online report they've had issues. So if you are a person who is celiac, you definitely don't want to eat them without calling the company. So, okay. Yeah, black olives I don't mind them at all on a pizza, but I've had them like in salads and stuff, and they're not my favorite. Now my husband likes black olives, so I give him my black ones, he gives me his green ones. So it works out. All right, I'm going to give one of these guys a try. It's interesting. The hot dogs actually seem to shrink up a little bit after I took them out, so they don't quite fill the pastry. And the thing is, gluten-free pastry is fiddly. It just is. Sometimes it turns out great, sometimes not so much. I did glaze it, and maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. But anyway, they're good. They're not like regular, like if you use crescent rolls where they're puffy. It's not like that. It's kind of like a nice crunchy bite. So these bad boys are sizzling. I'm going to pull that out. They appear to be done. Now, one of the things did say you could turn them upside down or turn them over halfway through. I decided not to do that. And grab my little handy dandy tongs here. But I did have them where they were draining, so hopefully they cooked on the bottom, and they're still cooking a little bit. So I definitely want to get the ones in the back here because they're the most done. Oh, that one just fell apart. So it's interesting. The ones that were the end of the bacon they're not staying together as well. And honestly, I don't know. And I won't be able to try them if I go over there. The chipolatas. Plate's getting a little warm, so I'm going to set that down. Get these off of here. And I'll give them also a minute to set up while we're talking here. So tell me, has anybody made anything delicious lately? I always need some inspiration. Or what's your favorite thing that you've cooked this week? I would love to know. Like I said, I'm working on some things for next week, and then the the following week won't be it, but the week of May 11th, I had little pieces of bacon left, so I just put those on there. So I'm going to stick those right here. There's a day that week, which is May 13th. And for those of you who might not have noticed, the name of the channel is Gluten Free from the 513. And that's my area code. That's why I picked, and we call this area the 513. That happens to be Wednesday of that week. So I'm calling it Cincinnati week. And we're going to have ourselves a Cincinnati week, and we are going to do dishes that are, some I didn't even know until I looked up food that Cincinnati is known for. I mean, everybody seems to know. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate it. Everybody seems to think, or seems to know about Cincinnati chili. And I will be making that one day. But we're also known for something called mock turtle soup. And I know that there are people who do eat actual turtle soup. This does not have any turtle in it, which is why it's called mock turtle soup. And I'm poring over recipes right now to see all the different ways that people make them. Some of them sound terrible, and I've never had them like that. But so I'm going to make that one day. We have a dish called geta, and it is similar, if you know what scrapple is, or mush. It is similar to that. It's made with pin oats and different meats and spices, and I'm probably going to make that one day. And then I can't remember what the other things were, but one of them will be something with what we call cottage ham, what most people call smoked pork shoulder, but we have them specifically packaged as a cottage ham or a cottage butt. And yes, it's called a butt. But I can't remember what the other one was. And maybe I'll pull in some. We have two really, really good, well, actually three really good ice cream places too. Two are nationally known, UDF, which is United Dairy Farmers, and the other one is Grater's Ice Cream. They have the monster chocolate chips in their chocolate chip. They have a raspberry chip, and they have, which is good. It's what they're known for. My favorite is their chocolate chip. What makes the joke in this town is Cincinnati is the only place you can take your kids for a three-way, and it's a wholesome thing. We put our chili, which is it's a thin chili, meaty but thin is the way I put it. It's spaghetti, chili, cheese. Some people add onions. Some people add beans, and some people. There is even one place here that adds jalapeno caps, is what they call them. So our conies, we have conies that we use that chili on. But it's a different kind of chili. It has different kinds of, there's usually cinnamon in it. There was a rumor for a long time that it had chocolate in it, but it does not. So it's a Greek chili, essentially. Most of the chili, we call them chili parlors, and they tend to be a Greek-owned restaurant, and they tend to specialize in chili and double-deckers and very expansive menus. I worked in one years ago before I was married to my husband, and you could get anything. I mean, it was crazy how many things were on that menu, and they still have an extensive menu. It's like 8 pages long. So it is similar to a loaded chili mac, but it's, like I said, we'll I'll make it. I'll show you. I'll show you some of the iterations that we have. I love chili cheese fries with that. Uh, I'm trying to think. My son is a very big fan of what's called skyline dip, or it would be a Cincinnati chili dip if I made it. But I will be talking about all those things, all things Cincinnati chili that day. And we take a lot of flack. People tend to either love it or hate it. So I'm going to see if these guys are, I'm hoping, yeah. Yep. All right. Like I said, the ones, I made them a little short, but can't go wrong, can you? I mean, everything's better with bacon, right? Those are so good. I could stand a little less salt, but okay. So here's the thing. Um, Makes me sad to say, but these are really, really good. I think I like them better than the American version. Um, Maybe because it's a sausage as opposed to a hot dog. That might be it. And it might be different if I try them in a different kind of sauce or something. But I got to tell you, these are so good. Hi, Martha. We are comparing US pigs in a blanket to UK pigs in a blanket. So here's my other half of the one I nibbled on before. And maybe it's because it's just so crisp. Um, but dang, these British ones are so good. I'm gonna finish the American one, but I think my family, when they decide which one they're gonna do, are gonna be much happier with these. So, oh goodness, they are those ones with the bacon are so good. And it's funny because my son has already, speaking of the skyline dip, my son is very excited to dip one in skyline to see how it tastes because like I said, we do conies, so it's similar to having a coney, but then we add a little cream cheese and it'll be delicious. So anyway, um, oh, thank you, Christy. We don't really know when they cut off, so it's kind of an odd thing that my son said he hits it and like it's gone. We don't know it's gone, but it does. Oh, Greek baklava. Yeah, I haven't had baklava in forever. Um, because phyllo is wheat based. But and yeah, I eat Greek yogurt all the time. If my stomach starts giving me any kind of problems, Greek yogurt seems to set everything right. I don't know why, but it does. That and some walnuts and some blueberries, and I'm right as rain. So normally I'm here a little longer, but I'm done today. We are good to go here, and we are. I'm sorry. I looked up at my clock, and my clock is not right. It says 3:40, and I'm like, I don't think we started an hour early. So anyway, I'm going to wish you all a very, very good weekend. We will be back on Monday with, assuming I can find it, which I should be able to. We're going to be making some prime rib and some sides to go with that. And thanks to Christy, I will probably make a horseradish cream. Make sure I do that because that is what my husband, you want to talk about something he loves to put horseradish on. It is something like that. So thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. I tend to forget to ask people to do that, to like and subscribe, because it really does help us right now. We're on our way to, we're searching for those magical 1,000 subscribers and also the 4,000 watch hours, which, anybody who's here, you've just helped. So I appreciate that. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'll see you back here, same time on Monday for some lovely prime rib. Have a good one, guys. Love you.